Shopping online is totally my vibe, but I'm always anxious that my card information will be stolen. That is, until Dupaco made it easy to keep tabs on my transactions or purchases, helping me catch any I didn't make. Now I can shop with confidence, without spilling a drop on my latte. Dupaco, your money, your tools. Open an account today. Learn more at dupaco.com/shine.
All things Hawkeyes, your all-access pass. From courtside to the postgame. Iowa's News Now Sports presents Eye on the Hawks. Sponsored by Dupaco Community Credit Union and Pin Social.
Welcome to one more remote edition of Eye on the Hawks from Indianapolis with Mike Howell. I'm Owen Sebring, and we want to thank our sponsors who have helped make this trip possible. Of course, our year-round sponsors from Dupaco and Pin Social, and this week, the University of Northern Iowa helping make this trip happen. Good day to be a University of Northern Iowa fan.
What a day for them, right?
Boy, yeah, as the Panther men's basketball team punches their ticket to the tournament. You just want to turn this into a UNI men's basketball podcast for the day? I'm not sure.
I don't know enough. I just found out their best player's name today, so I don't know if that's a good idea.
I'm not sure if Mike's ready to talk about Hawkeye women's basketball just yet after that one. I don't know how else to characterize it other than maybe one of the ugliest games I've seen the Hawkeyes play since I've covered this team.
Well, they scored the first points. Taylor Stremlo hit the first three, and they're up 3-0, and the crowd's going wild.
Was not a wire-to-wire win for UCLA. All right, here we go.
Yeah, they were leading in the first minute, but after that, they ended the first quarter, UCLA did, on a 22-2 run. 22-2, right? Or was it 25-2?
I thought how many points did they have in the first quarter? Was it
22.
4 or 5?
I got it. I had the box score right in front of me. I didn't even look at it. 22-2 run after that first three, and we're looking at each other like this is no bueno.
There was no bueno to be found today in Indianapolis. I mean, even talking to the team after the game, some were sad. I mean, obviously there were some tears in the locker room after a performance like that, but especially some of the seniors, even Kylie and Hannah, who are usually maybe some of the more emotional ones, not much emotion after a game like this. They just kind of thought like, boy, UCLA gave us a dose today, and we've just got to recover and try to do better in the NCAA tournament. Like, we just played one of the best teams in the country that might be playing for a national championship in about a month. So what are you going to do in a game like this?
And they made the Final Four last year, and, we'll have to wait and see once they get – I'm not going to say it's a lock because nothing is a lock in sports, but they're going to make it to the Final Four again, right? I mean, that team is too good unless they play an awful game. And Jan Jensen said yesterday after the Michigan game, Iowa would need to play almost a near-perfect game, and UCLA would have to be off their game, and it almost flip-flopped. And obviously Iowa played poorly because of UCLA and their immense talent, and it just wasn't a good day.
One thing they pointed out, too, about this UCLA team, because we did kind of ask, I mean, after a loss like that, there's only stupid questions to be asked. What went wrong today?
How are you feeling?
How is UCLA so good? What are you supposed to say? But one thing they pointed out was just how it's not just how good UCLA has a Lauren Betts or a Kiki Rice, but it's like they are just such an evenly distributed lineup. Looking at their point averages for the season, Lauren averages 16, Kiki averages 15, Hawkeyes has 13, Kniepkens has 13, Dugalich has 9. I mean, even if you were to find a way to stop Lauren Betts, which honestly Ava Hayden did an okay job against Betts. She only had 10 points today, so take the win where you can get it. But when Betts has a day where she's not scoring, Kniepkens comes out and scores. Is it Kniepkens or Kniepkens? I'm not sure.
Kniepkens, I think.
Nevertheless, she scores 19 points today. She's our leading scorer. Kiki had another 15 and 8 assists. I mean, there's just so many ways this team can hurt you that I don't know how any team outside of UConn could stop this team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Lauren Betts, like you said, she only scored 10 points. Her sister had more points than her.
Wow.
She had 14.
That's true, off the bench.
I mean, it just wasn't a contest in the second half. The one thing I was surprised about, or not surprised, I shouldn't say, encouraged by, I mean, the Iowa fans that stuck it around every time there was a bucket, even though it was a 30, 40, 50-point deficit, they were still into it, and, just showing the girls how much this season has still been a success. It's kind of hard to put, though. You get walloped 51 points, but this they're still 26-6. They're going to get a 2 seed, in the NCAA tournament. It's hard on this day to feel good about the program, even though tomorrow and the next week you should feel fine, right? Isn't that? Do you agree?
Totally, yeah. I think that this has to be like a lot of Big East teams have felt throughout the years, where you're like,
True.
UConn is on a totally different level than what we're playing at right now. But hey, pretty dang good season overall. And for Iowa still, based on what they did in their last 2 games against Illinois and Michigan, I still think this is a team that has the caliber to be a I mean, dare I say Elite Eight team? Certainly they have the potential to be a Sweet 16 team. That's no questioning that. But Elite Eight is certainly up in the air. I'm not going to lock that in, but that's a possibility for this team. And so that's what hopefully fans are not going to forget. And I think even Iowa's fans are smart enough to know UCLA is so good that this game was just going to have to go exactly right for Iowa to even have a chance. It didn't. Okay, let's forget about it and focus on what's going to be happening at the NCAA tournament.
And, even the first game of the season, it was a 23-point victory for UCLA. You were just kind of hoping, can they get it within 15 and 10 and not lose like an embarrassment? But I think just after that first wave, I think Jan showed against Illinois, like margin of victory doesn't really matter. Some of the younger players, they get on the court with a couple minutes left. If you really wanted to make that score look better, you would have kept your starters on. Yeah. But it really, for what? What does it matter?
Yeah, exactly.
You get to prove yourself in the NCAA tournament, and I agree. Sweet 16, Elite 8. I think from the 3 games they played against number 1 seeds this year, which is UCLA twice and UConn, you really kind of say, all right, probably not a Final Four contender unless an upset happens and a 1-seeder gets knocked out. I wonder, though, if this loss, the way it happened, knocks Iowa out of that top 2 seed and that Texas or USC bracket,
Right.
And puts them in, the 2nd or 3rd 2 seed. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait a week.
The one thing that, I don't know if this would weigh into that at all either, but Texas kicked South Carolina's butts today, 78-61. So that's a 17-point loss. That's not a 51-point loss. But nevertheless, it's like Texas absolutely humiliated South Carolina today. So there's a lot of crazy things that can happen in these conference tournaments. And so hopefully this is a game that the selection committee doesn't focus on too much when they're evaluating the talent and the ability of this Iowa team. They can look at the Michigan game or the Illinois game or most of the games that came before it. And they haven't played great against some of those best teams in the country, against UConn and against UCLA and against Iowa State when they were a top 10 team in December. But nevertheless, this is still a team that seems like they deserve to be, obviously, again, a 2 seed. I'll still be shocked if they're not a 2 seed, but hopefully getting in the portion of the bracket that they're avoiding the UConn, UCLA, and South Carolina combination.
Yeah, 100%. And, even with that, though, playing those 1 seeds all season, they did show they can beat, and they have, a lot of quad 1 wins against those 2nd and 3rd tier teams that are ranked anywhere from 8, beat Michigan twice by a lot of points, too. I don't think less of Michigan because, that was like a 20, 25-point spread. They've got Michigan State, Ohio State, those other teams, Maryland's, they've been able to beat that tier of team. So to your point, I do think they can make that Sweet 16 Elite 8 run.
Sure.
And who knows, maybe there's an upset.
If there's an encouragement to be had for Hawkeye fans too, it's like, I'm going to be down on this team being a Final Four team this year. That's probably not likely. But take this team 2 years from now. Are you going to tell me this is not going to be a Final Four contender in 2 seasons when almost all of these players outside of Hannah Stolke and Kylie Feuerbach are back on this team 2 seasons from now? They're only getting better, and they're only going to be more of a national contender in a couple of years with McKenna Velitsko coming in. This is a team that's going to get a lot better and not worse, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, and that's something Jan talked about after the game. Just someone asked her about the growth to freshman and sophomore, and you really saw it this season with Ava Hayden and Taylor Stremlow, kind of almost your core of your team, especially Addie Deal, too. Yep. She was the 2nd leading scorer tonight. Hit some shots kind of in garbage time, but she played throughout the game and hit a couple threes. So not bad, but Chit Chat Wright, I almost forgot. She's played amazing, I thought, all season. There's some scoring slumps, and maybe that just needs to be worked out, be steady each and every night if she's going to be kind of your scoring threat. But I do think that there's a lot of growth potential in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, we had the all-tournament team revealed after the game. Kiki Rice and Lauren Betts were first team, obviously, on the all-tournament team. Kiki Rice was the player of the week. Chance Gray from Ohio State was on the team, and then 2 Hawkeyes, Ava Hayden and Hannah Stolke, were on the all-tournament team. And so they showed what they can do this week. Hannah Stolke, even though she was scoreless today, only had three rebounds, not her best game overall. I think that if anybody knows her story and knows what she went through, the elbow injury and the sickness this week, that, if anything else, should boost her capacity to be on that all-tournament team. So great week for those two especially. Anybody that stood out as the individual performance of the day today for you, Mike?
For the Hawkeyes only?
Take your pick for UCLA, but yes, for the Hawkeyes.
I did think Ava Hayden, I thought they all played kind of tight, and they had 10 turnovers in the first quarter alone. You're just not going to win a game against a team like this, playing like that. I think, though, once everyone settled in and maybe UCLA took their foot off the gas a little bit, but Ava Hayden kind of did play well against Betts. I thought she had some good post moves in there.
Yeah.
I'd probably say her. Other than that, I don't know if it just all around. I mean, UCLA is so good because they can guard everyone.
Right.
They're big and they make it difficult.
Yeah. My other vote for the all-tournament team actually had been for Chit Chat Wright. Today she had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Again, it ties Iowa's team lead with 4 rebounds today. I just think that she maybe has not been talked about as much this tournament, but she just quietly put together a really solid filling out the box score every single night. Good for her. Addie Deal scoring 11 points off the bench. I mean, that's something to, and those weren't all, it's not like those were all garbage time minutes. I think maybe 3 or 5 of those were in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, just a couple shots.
Yeah, but she still, played well overall, and you like to see a freshman like that who is maybe still building back her confidence a little bit. It's good to see her getting double figures on a stage like this, preparing her for the future as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess the box score, they must have updated this because earlier it said the rebounds were tied at 41, but now it says UCLA has a 39-37 advantage. So not as bad as you'd think with the size that they have.
It's interesting. That's quite different than even ESPN's box score. They say UCLA won at 37-31 in the rebounds.
Well, we'll have to get to the bottom of this,
well,
I guess.
We will. We got
CBS versus ESPN app. We'll see which one it is.
Turnovers there, 19 for Iowa,
Yeah.
11 for UCLA is what I see here. Overall from the field, I mean, again, it was just absurd how well UCLA shot the ball today. They shot 63% from the field. Iowa only shooting 28%, 13 for 26 on three-pointers for UCLA, only 5 of 23, 22% for the Hawkeyes. Nothing about any of this box score is going to result in a winning effort for this team.
No, and I was going to mention that three-point percentage, 13 of 26. It's a pretty good indicator if you just look at that stat. Like, all right, I think they're going to win.
Yeah, 13 threes in one game is like, it's not like a record-setting number, but that's just
pretty darn good.
Absurd number. That's 39. That's almost Iowa's point total in three-pointers alone for for UCLA today. So overall, great. Any lasting thoughts we want to have from this Big Ten tournament before we wrap things up, Mike?
I hope this title game doesn't sour the whole weekend because the first 2 days were pretty encouraging if you're a Hawkeye fan. Illinois almost beat you at home. You come over and you kind of control that game, and then Michigan, you beat them again by whatever the final score was, 15 or 20 points.
Yep.
But 51-point loss is going to be hard to overlook, and that's difficult. But you get a couple weeks, and then you'll get to prove yourself that you weren't the 51-point losers that happened today in the NCAA tournament.
Yep. Yeah, I think that Iowa proved a lot of things to a lot of people this week, getting those wins over Illinois and Michigan, and you hope that the lasting impact on the selection committee is not this 51-point loss to UCLA. Hopefully that is taken with a grain of salt, considering just what UCLA is as an absolute unit. So we'll wrap things up here, and we're going to be back with another edition of Eye on the Hawks sometime soon, I have to imagine. We'll be bringing one. I know I'm obviously after selection Sunday.
A week from Tuesday, we'll have a live show at Penn Social down in Tiffin, so please come out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some guests. We're ironing that out on the drive home.
Yep.
6 hours, can't wait. Just under, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if we're going to do one this week.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Just since we did like 3 of them in a row.
We might do something maybe on Selection Sunday night, just a little quick thing like this possibly. So anyway, but we've got more coming for Eye on the Hawks. Of course, follow us on social media on the Eye on the Hawks team, and you can find us on YouTube, and we're posting all the videos there from the tournament this week. Just in a little bit, I'll be posting the post-game interviews we did with the players in the locker room, and so we've got all the tournament coverage from this week. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, Dupaco, Penn Social, and the University of Northern Iowa for helping make this trip happen. It's been great, me and Mike traveling out here again and getting a chance to cover the Hawkeyes all weekend long. So thanks again for joining us on Eye on the Hawks, and we'll see you again soon.
Shopping online is totally my vibe, but I'm always anxious that my card information will be stolen. That is, until Dupaco made it easy to keep tabs on my transactions or purchases, helping me catch any I didn't make. Now I can shop with confidence, without spilling a drop on my latte. Dupaco, your money, your tools. Open an account today. Learn more at dupaco.com/shine.